Hi everyone, today we're gonna have our first all-fives jump drills class. This class is good for any level, whether you're working your singles, doubles, or triples. We're going to go over some of the basics of alignment, biomechanics, muscle engagements, quickness, fast twitch muscles engagement, so that you can learn drills that can help you improve not just technique, but even just the abilities that you need to get your jumps better. We're going to start by getting our heart rate going, getting the blood flowing, and making sure that we can safely start jumping afterwards. So never start jumping out of the blue. Always make sure, even if you feel warm, you want to make sure that you're working on range of motions and throughout the joints that you're going to need for the exercises, heart rate going a little bit higher, so that the blood is flowing and your body is actually able to safely do the exercises that we're going to do later. Okay, so we're going to start from what I call easy skips. We're going to first work on the coordination of it if you've never done that before. So we're just going to take a step to the side, just a small step to the side. With the other foot, we're tapping on the floor. Hands are engaged like if you're jogging, and then step on the other side, tap, step, and tap. This is going to be the movement, and then eventually, as you got the coordination, we're going to hop it a little bit more. You can start kind of slowly, hop, tap, and then eventually you're going to try and pick up the speed a little bit, just making sure that you maintain it nice and light. You don't want to be heavy on your feet. You want to maintain your upper body engaged, core engaged, feel the belly button squeezing in and lifting your spine up so that you're nice and lifted through your hips and not kind of just sitting and being heavy on your feet. You're going to feel your weight in the ball of your feet, and the heels, as you can see, are slightly lifted, so I'm quicker on my feet. You're going to go for like 20 to 30 seconds just to get your breathing and your heart rate a little bit elevated. And then after this, we're going to do high knees. So we're going to skip with your knees going at hip level or higher if you can. So really engaging the lower abs to lift the knees up. Still maintaining that good posture, the good spine nice and stretched and elevated. So the belly button is squeezing in and stretching everything up. And we're going to try and keep our tailbone, so our back nice and flat, without letting it arch nor curve. And we're gonna go again for 15 to 20 seconds. If you can, try and speed up the movement as much as you can. Getting the heart rate going up a little bit higher. And then we're gonna go to back kicks. So now here, a couple things to watch out for to do it properly. Again, keeping in mind that posture and the good alignment. Shoulders are still on top of the hips, so we're trying not to arch the back and letting the hips go too far back. We're trying to keep your hip flexors and your core on a nice straight line and your toes on a straight line. Squeezing the hamstrings to make sure we're starting to warm up the muscle and maintaining the lightness through your feet. If you can, speed it up a little bit. All right, by this point, I'm sure you're gonna be breathing a little bit harder, as I am. It's even harder as you're talking. And we're gonna move on to the next part. We're gonna go and increase a little bit more the engagement of the muscles, adding a little bit more of our weight. So hands on your sides or in front of you, whatever you prefer. We're gonna go, I'll show you from two different angles. We're gonna go into 10 alternating lunges to the front, making sure that we maintain alignment with the shoulders stacked on top of the hips. And at the same time, we're going to make sure that, I'm showing you from here, knees are staying in line with your toes, so there's no wobbling through the knees, and the hips are staying side to side without dropping. We're probably about 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. All right, after this, we work the heart rate, we work a little bit of muscle engagement through the thighs, which are gonna work hard in our jumps. And then we're going to work a little bit more on the range of motion of our legs. So one hand holding on either the wall or a chair or whatever you have available, Other hand and arm nice in line with the shoulder. Don't go lower, don't go higher. Chin is up. We maintain all our joints stacked. And we're going to do one kick to the front, squeezing the thighs, making sure the leg is nice and long, not leaving it relaxed, and elongating the toes, thinking about a nice toe point throughout the whole movement. We're going to do it fast, 10 of them. We're going to kick to the front, and then right away going into a spiral position with the chin staying up. Now, I'm quite flexible through these movements, so for me, even if I'm not trying to go to my highest point in my range of motion, it might look quite high. Now, I don't want anybody to feel like they have to push themselves to make this into a flexibility exercise. This is still our warm-up. So I don't expect your leg swings to all look like mine if your flexibility is not quite there yet. This has to still feel like a warm-up. So it should feel, yes, the heart rate is going. Yes, maybe there is a slight stretch as you go, just because maybe your legs haven't done that movement today yet, but it shouldn't feel like you're trying to work the max of your flexibility right now. That's not the goal. And actually that might be detrimental to your training, so we do not want to do that right now. Just keep it to a light stretch. So for me, it's gonna look like this, and I'm still quite relaxed doing it, but for some other people, maybe your flexibility is not there yet, it might look more like this, and that's okay. We don't need to go super high. So we'll do 10 of those on one side, we'll do the same onto the other side. Now I won't do them all, so that I let you do them and we can talk and have more time for the other things. After these 10 and 10, we're going to work a little bit more flexibility through the turn out of your hip and the more stretch through the hamstrings. So you're gonna hold on either a chair or the wall with two hands facing whatever you're holding. The motion of the leg, I'll show you from here. You're going to actually swing the leg in front to the other. So you're gonna have an internal turn out of the hip. And then as you swing back, you're gonna switch the rotation. You're gonna turn the hip open. So it's gonna look like this. Now again, we're squeezing the quad to have a fully stretched out leg, pointing the toes. And once again, we're not doing this exercise for flexibility at this time, but just to make sure that we have enough range of motion to do the exercises that we're doing later. So some of you might look like mine, some of you might go even higher and still feel comfortable. Some of you might make it a much smaller swing, and that's okay as long as you're comfortable. So just to show you again, they're gonna look like this more or less, keeping the quad squeeze, the pointed toes, and we'll do 10 on one side, and we'll do 5 to 10 as well, something like that on the other side. And so now we have a bit more range of motion to our legs, so those are ready. And now last thing, we're gonna go through a scan, kind of like a general scan of our body joints, kind of start to feel how they're moving today, if you feel any tension anywhere. So we're gonna start from the toes, making our way up. So starting from the ankles, big rotations around your ankle joints with your toe into the ground in one direction, and then going the opposite direction. And then we're gonna pick it up, find a bit of balance, draw the biggest circle you can with your toes. So now we're actively rotating that ankle again, making sure the muscles are working a little bit more around the ankle, and then other side, into the ground, out away, and in the air. And then moving up to knees. Now knees are extremely fragile and important in skating. So this one we're always gonna do it extra slow and extra carefully to make sure that there's no pain at all, making sure that we're not stretching or snapping the ligaments in weird positions if we go too fast. And then a little bit wider, big turns through the hips. Try and go as big as you can, as far as you can in every direction, and trying to maintain your knees straight at this point. Go other direction. And then moving up through the spine. Let's get a bit more spine rotation. So hands in line with your elbows. We're going to rotate, take the spine and try and rotate as far back as you can while you're trying to maintain the hips as still as possible. And then you're gonna go to the other side. We'll do it 4 times fast with your arms here, 4 times fast with your arms extended. Now we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, extended arms, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then moving up to the shoulders, keeping the elbows very straight and making sure that once again we maintain the back nice and lifted up from the hips and straight in the back, straight in the front. So no arch, no curve, trying to keep the tailbone facing down, rotate the back a few times and to the front a few times. And then last 2, shoulders going to the back, big circles, making sure that we really feel how this should be rotating back and staying down eventually for our good posture. And then back to front. And then last, the head, big circles one way, making sure the neck is nice and loosened up as well. And the other. All right, the first 2 exercises we're gonna do are gonna be exercises completely focused on alignment of the whole body positioning, and with particular focus on the ankles alignment. We need to create strong alignment for jumping, because as we all know on the ice, when we go fast with speed, if alignment is not there through our jumping takeoff, air positioning and landing, we're either gonna fall, we're gonna have a very hard time holding the landing or land with good grades of execution. So we're going to start by holding onto the wall again. I'll show you from the side, but if you want this exercise, you can start even by facing the wall to make sure you're absolutely square through the hips and very even in your position. So one hand at the wall, other one on the hip, or 2 hands at the wall, 1 foot attached to the side. Now we're gonna put full focus on the alignment through the spine. So if I were to show you from the side, we wanna check that the ears are gonna stay in line with the shoulders, in line with the hips, in line with the knees, in line with the ankles. So if you were to connect all those points, you should have a fully straight line. We don't want to lose that straight line at any point. So whether you're doing the takeoff of the exercise or you're in the releve phase, you don't want to lose it. You never want to lose that positioning. So the exercise is going to be like this. We're going to go bending into plie, maintaining alignment, stretching, squeezing the quad of the standing side, lifting, pulling the belly button in and lifting it up, and then lifting the heel as much as we can, and then lowering with control. So see, at any point I want to maintain all those points stacked like we said earlier. Now another thing I want to have you watch for is making sure that as you lift and as you bend, your ankle also stays in line with your knee. So your knee right on top of the 2nd to 3rd toe, to make sure that there's no wobbling through the knee, so we keep the knee safe. And once we're in the air, no wobbling through the ankles. We want really strong ankles, strong alignment. So as you're up here, see my ankles and knees are in line. We don't want this to happen. This is called sickling the ankle. We do not want that to happen because it's gonna weaken our ligaments and be really a big issue later on as we train. So we'll do 5 to 10 of these. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I'll do 5 for now so that we have more time for me to show you other exercises, but feel free to go on to 10. We'll do the same thing on the other side, belly button in and up. Feeling somebody pulling up through the crown of your head. 1, squeeze the quad up, and 2 and 3, knees over the toes, nice flat back. 4 and 5. Okay, so now we have started to put a little bit more focus on full body alignment, head to toes, on engaging the ankle muscle to make sure that we don't have weak ankles as we do the exercise. I will focus a little bit more there so we have more awareness. So now we're gonna go on and leave the wall and do a similar exercise without the wall, to see if we're actually able to maintain that alignment while we have a little bit less help from the wall. So again, for alignment, we keep all the spine stacked as we said. Arms are in front. We're gonna bend at first, maintaining shoulders over the hips, and then from here we're gonna lift the heels only, but maintain the position. Whoop, I'm already wobbling. And then we're gonna stretch up. Core is strong because we want everything stacked. And then we hold it for a second at the top to make sure we have alignment and we're able to hold it. And then we lower where we control. We're gonna do again 5 to 10 of these. And 2, strong ankles, no sickling, stretch and down. 3, heels up, stretch and lower. 4, heels up, stretch and lower. 5, heels up, stretch, core strong and lower. All right, so now we checked that we have balance and awareness of the alignment and control. And now we're ready to finally start jumping a little bit more. Okay, very first exercise for jumping, super easy. Just really checking that we're maintaining alignment that we just worked on while we're jumping. So we're gonna do 3 jump up on the spot with the arms going back to front each time. So when I go to the front, arms are with 2 fists crossing at the wrist in front of your chest, making sure they don't go higher. And we're leaving a little bit of space, like if you're hugging something small, so that we're creating space in our single, so that later on, if we're working on doubles and triples, we're gonna go and squeeze and be able to accelerate the rotation. So for now, a little bit of space. Then after the 3 jumps on 2 feet, we're going to land onto a really deep knee bend and a nice exit. For exit, every coach has their preference for arm positions. For now, just to practice good alignment and good posture, I like to keep a completely square position at the moment because we have no rotation, so just a fully square position. Arms are going to be at shoulder height again, but really putting a lot of focus on feeling these 2 muscles that run up and down your back, your laterals, really engaging. So they're keeping your torso lifted throughout the jump, but also throughout the landing position. Even when you're bending deeply through the standing knee, these 2 muscles are keeping your back nice and lifted and long. We're not collapsing in, we're not crunching on one side, both sides are equally stretched up, and then maintain that light torso even when we're pressing really deep through the knee. So the exercise is gonna look like this. 1, 2, 3, hold the position, nice and square, nice and lifted, still deep knee bend, nice pointed toe. if I'm out of the camera, squeezing the quad for a nice stretch through the leg. Now we'll do those 3 jumps, the landing, I'm gonna try and hold it for 10 full seconds. While you're holding the position, like we said, there's a lot to think about in terms of muscle engagement. We're also gonna have to focus on keeping balance. So for now, to keep balance, pick a spot in front of you, make sure you keep looking at it, chin is up, eyes are on the spot, and we stay there. Because your eyes have little muscles that are connected to the back of your, at the back, they're connected to your spine. So for now, until we get more advanced, we wanna always look straight ahead to make sure our eyes are helping our spine stay straight. Later on, once we're really good, we can look around more, learn to have our head turned more while still maintaining balance. But for now, we'll stick to this. All right, so here we go. We're gonna do 3 jump up, 1, 2, 3, holding that good landing, square position, deep knee bend, 2, 3, lift it through each side, 4, strong knees, no wobbling, 5, 6, shoulders down, long neck, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And relax. Now I forgot to tell you, for proper arm placement, so that you're really helping your balance the best you can, and you're helping yourself stay flat through the back, have always your arms not exactly to the side, but like just a tiny bit ahead of your shoulders. So if you can see me from the side, my hands are not covering my shoulder, they're just a little bit ahead, just a touch. So that will help our balance and will help our back staying straight. If we go too far back, I'm gonna arch it too much, and then my balance is gonna go on the heel, and we don't want that. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing onto the other leg. 1, 2, 3, and out. Hold. 1, 2, 3. This is my bad side, so I'm a little bit more shaky, but that's even better practicing this so that we get both sides to be more well balanced. And yeah, that's another reason why we want to make sure that off the ice, when we have the opportunity, we try and train both sides equally. Even if on the ice we only practice one side mostly, that way we are helping compensate the muscle imbalances that we create in our sport already when we're on the ice. Okay, moving on. Our next jump exercise is going to be a hip twist. So this is to start understanding how to create circular momentum. So how to create the motion of rotation in our jumps, and how to maintain alignment while we create that movement. So we're going to keep our feet side to side for now. Arms are still at shoulder level, still square at this moment. We're going to go up in the air. For now, we're just going to do the movement without actually jumping, so that we really understand the correct movement and the coordination of it. So we're going to come up straight. We're going to twist the hips on one side, but only the hips. So we're trying to keep the torso from the belly button above as still as possible, and the head facing forward, and we're just twisting through the spine. And we twist one way. As we twist, we're going to also squeeze the ankles together, and then we're going to twist back to the center and then lower. So if you were to imagine jumping, you'd be jumping up, whoops, strong ankles, twisting, squeezing in, twisting back to the center, and then lowering. So while we do this, we want to create a lot of height first thing. What we want first is always the height. Then at the top, we're going to find the quickest, I call it a snap, quickest snap into the twist and squeeze. And then we're going to come back down. Again, there's a lot of involved here. Arms are strong, and we're going to try and jump it now. So we're going to come up, twist, crossing the ankles. If we go towards, with your hips towards your left side, we're going to cross the left foot in front. If we're going hips towards the right side, we're going to cross right foot in front. So we'll go and try 3 back to back. 1, 2, 3, out of the way. 1, 2, 3. Now, as you can see, the timing of them, we want it quick as well. So I always tell my skitters, imagine you're playing the game, the floor is lava. You want to stay on the floor in between jumps the smallest amount of time, so that it's almost like if you were to do this on music, it's almost as if the beat happens when you're floating in the air. Imagine you're like floating for a second in the air, and you stay longer in the air than you stay on the floor. So it would be like press up, press up, press up, instead of press down, press down, press down. So we want more time in the air, less time on the floor. You want to be really quick, and you're going to create that quickness by deeply pressing your ankles forward. So you're getting a really good ankle bend while maintaining your back straight. And then you're going to go through the ball of the foot, through the toes, pushing strongly through the toes to gain the max height. So in the air, you're going to have very extended position of your toes and your whole leg. And then snap and cross, and then come back down, and then redo that as quickly as you can. So I'll show you one more time on each side. And 1 and 2 and 3, out of the way, and 1 and 2 and 3. If this feels too hard to start with, you can also start with simple hip twist without a cross of the feet yet. So just do everything we did, no cross. So just twist and twist and twist, and the other way, twist, twist, twist. As you can see, I'm still trying to maintain pointed toes in the air. We want to feel engagement through the toes. We don't want to have like floppy toes in the air. Okay, moving on. We're gonna do the same thing on one foot. So now if I'm standing on my right side, we're going to rotate the whole hip, starting from the whole leg, starting from the hip towards the right side and then back to the center. And again, as quick as you can with tempo, as light as you can, pushing through the toes every time. And here we have an extra challenge. We want to keep a very strong lower core because we've got to make sure that once we're standing one foot and once we're landing, we don't drop the other side. Otherwise, we won't be able to land properly. So strong engagement through the core, and we go up and up and up. Try to stay on the same spot as you jump. And then the other side, press up, press up, press up. Okay, you can repeat this a few times to make sure you find good alignment, you find good rhythm, you're sure that you're pushing through the toes and you keep engagement through the whole leg. And then grab a sip of water. We want to finally start rotating in our jumps. We're going to start with block jumps. So we're going to imagine we have a pie or a cake. We're going to divide that pie into 4 equal quarters at first, and then we're going to divide it into 2 halves. So we're going to do 4 quarter jumps, come to full rotation, finish the full pie, and then we're gonna do 2 halves. So then we're gonna come to another full pie afterwards. What's important for now, we're going to maintain our arms into a L position if we go towards the left. If you rotate towards the right side, then you'll go into a reverse L position. Now that doesn't matter so much right now because I'm actually gonna make you practice both sides. Like I said earlier, it's important to try and work both ways as much as we can, at least off the ice, since on the ice we already work so much on one side only. So let's start going towards the left. So left arm in front, right arm to the side. We're going to have a slight counter rotation here when we prepare. So as we're bending, your feet are gonna be with a little bit of space in between, like 2 train tracks, but pretty much the same width of your hips or your shoulders. And as we bend deeply, we're going to get a slight counter rotation just to help. But now this doesn't matter so much for quarter rotations, but we'll do a little bit more for 1 full rotation or for doubles or triple jumps. So just learning to have a slight counter rotation. So we're actually slightly going to the opposite direction compared to the one we're gonna go afterwards. And then from here, we're gonna go up in the air. Really think about pushing with equal amount of power from both sides. And then once we're at the top of our height, we're going to rotate only a quarter jump. And then we're gonna continue in 3 more quarter jumps to come to a full circle. And I still want you guys to think about really popping straight back up after each jump to keep a quick timing in between. So again, we're thinking about the game, the floor is lava. You land from the first jump, you push right back up. You land from the first jump, you push right back up. So we're working your fast twitch muscles ability, the ability to work really quickly and with as much power as we can at the same time. So from here, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, half, half, and land back where we started. With your feet always making sure that they're in line, toes in line with your knees, no wobbling through the knees and ankles when we land, no crunching of your sides, maintaining a strong torso even as we're bending. So we'll do the same thing on the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, half, half, press, press, and press to make sure we really stick to the ground. Okay, so now we've done our quarters and halves. Those are relatively easy. And now we're gonna focus a little bit longer onto the 1 rotation of the ice, just because we're gonna start to use our arms a little bit more. So at first we'll do it on its own. Feet are still shoulder width apart. Arms are still into a L shape or reverse L shape based on which side you're gonna rotate. And then from here, I'm going to still think about lifting off as if I was a rocket. So same amount of power, pushing off, firing up through both sides of my legs. And then at the top imagine you're like being sucked up into a tube and you're rotating once you get to the top, so that we don't have anything like this happening. We go straight up and just do those hip twists when we get to the top. Now, talking about arms. From the L shape, as I'm bending and in slight pre-rotation and slight counter-rotation, I'm having the back arm starting to go down to my right hip if I'm going to the left, or my left hip if I'm going to the right. And then from my hip, I'm going to go across the body as I'm starting to lift up. I'm going across the body, and in the air, I'm gonna have two fists crossing at the wrist and with a little bit of space in between. So same position that we had in the 3 jumps that we did at the beginning. And when I land, I'm gonna open back up to the same position as the takeoff. So it's gonna look like this. And press and press and press, finding a good sticking to the ground when I land. Okay, so you can try this a couple times at first, making sure that we have really good coordination through the arms, making sure that it's really just your arms helping you jump up, and it's not your shoulders lifting up into your jump. We're gonna continuously have a long neck and pressing the shoulders down even if your arms are working. So we wanna be able to isolate those muscles. You're working your arms, your back muscles are working to keep you lifted, but you're not lifting your shoulders to your ears. You want your lifted. You want your neck and shoulders nice and relaxed. Okay, you can try this a couple times each way. And now we're gonna put the quarters, the halves, and the full one all together. And still not having any pause in between, but keeping that quick tempo throughout all the jumps. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, half, half, 1, and we press. And we try and land exactly where we started. Mine wasn't so clean this time. It does help sometimes if you are in a very square room, or if you have something to look at in every spot you're landing. That helps to really make you understand how much you want to rotate. Okay, we're gonna try the same thing on the other side. And 1, 2, 3, 4, half, half, and 1. Pressing, pressing, pressing. Okay, now you can work on this a couple times just to make sure you're feeling really good quickness and really good power throughout your jumps. You're feeling that you're able to maintain a square block throughout your torso as you're going up and down, and there's no actual twisting. There is a little bit of twisting when you start the rotation through the hips, but you don't want to end up twisted in the air yet. We're not crossing yet. We're just really getting ourselves set up to be able to rotate more later. So for now, we're being very square, very symmetrical in our body positioning. Okay, whenever you're ready, we're gonna try, if you want to, this might be for next session, up to you, but if you feel up for it, we're gonna start trying and going to a double rotation or triple rotation if you want. We're going to go up into that tube. Now, if you're working on a double, we wanna start thinking about snapping your hips and find that hip snap that we worked on earlier at about 75 to 80% of your max height. So let's say if normally you would jump up to here when you do your single jump, and then you would think about rotating up at the top. Now, because we're starting to add more rotation, instead of reaching the very top and then start thinking about rotating, you want to start thinking about snapping the hips and get the rotation started when you're at about 75 to 80% of your max height. So if you normally jump up to here, we want to maybe start thinking about rotating when you're down here. And then we're going to keep a nice tight backspin position. So you're going to be staying nice and square. Some people like to be more aligned to the right side. If you're very strong through the core, I don't mind you staying very, very completely square. Arms with two fists, crossing at the wrist, pressing onto the chest, as long as you're strong enough through your core to be able to come out and stop the rotation from going. If you don't feel that confident there yet, you can stay a little bit more aligned towards the right side, making sure you're really squeezing your core, engaging your oblique muscles, and keeping your hip lifted to be ready for a landing and to be ready to stop the rotation and hold on to your edge once you're on the ice. Now, once we land, we also want to make sure we have the lateral muscles in your back being very, very engaged on the side you're standing on to make sure there's no collapsing through that side. So you can go ahead and rotate either 2 rotations or go for a triple, as long as you really think about a good solid snap that we worked on earlier, thinking about engagement through the core, thinking about maintaining the alignment through all the joints that we talked about earlier, and maintaining that alignment as you come off, blocking the rotation. Okay, so we come to the end of our class. After your doubles and triple rotations, if you tried those, I want you to take a few moments to really think about the things you want to take home as knowledge for today. We spent the majority of class, if you notice, to really think and have that idea of alignment sink in and really keep the focus there. Alignment is extremely important to stay safe in your body joints and safe on the ice when you're trying your jumps. So alignment definitely has to be a must, and you have to make sure you know how to feel your muscles engagement and how to increase your awareness to be able to know if you are properly aligned. So that was the main thing I wanted to make you think about, guys, today. We did relatively simple exercises to start, but the basics needs to be there before we move on to more specific training for each single jump. Now, we're gonna take a few moments just to stretch together. We did a lot of jumping, so there's a lot of strengthening work through our calves and ankles. So we'll take a second to hold on to a wall or a chair and just stretch your calves. You can do this stretch, or which I'm sure everybody knows how to do, or we can also do a stretch where you're gonna put your toes up the wall, and if you don't feel much yet, you can get yourself a little bit closer into the wall by pressing through the back foot, and you should feel a good stretch between your ankles and your calves. You can hold it 30 seconds on each side. You can hold the other stretch I just showed you for the same amount, just to make sure your calves are getting a little bit of relief from all the jumps that we did today. I forgot to mention, when you do jump class, if you do it by yourself, make sure that you're always jumping on surfaces that are not going to be extremely tough on your joints. So really try not to jump on concrete if possible. If you really have to, you have no other choice, try to keep the amount of jumping to a minimum. So maybe really think about what we said for alignment, really do all your alignment exercises at first, and then visualize your jumps, and when you're sure, maybe you can do a couple of repetitions, but try not to jump too much on hard surfaces. So wooden floors are great if you ever go to a ballet studio, or if you have a ballet studio in your gym, that's a great surface to jump in. Or plastic kind of floor, like linoleum kind of floors, those are great, but really try not to jump too much and too long on hard surfaces. Okay, that was the end of our class. I hope everybody enjoyed it.